It all starts in the war against the Demon King 1,000 years ago on the day the demonic beast crossed the front lines and attacked the humans. You're probably already thinking, oh damn, here comes another one of those cliche stories if a scientist beginning like 16 teams already. But hold on me warrior, take it is humanity fought against the creatures for survival. However, the long and never-ending war continued. The ground kept being soaked in blood while the number of demonic beasts decreased. Until suddenly someone shows up reading the Black Dragon. That is when the legendary mage appeared. Bro, he easily managed to whip out the entire field, defeating all the demonic beasts. Just the majestic presence of the dragon alone already caused fear in all the beasts. Everyone on the battlefield worshipped the hero, but then out of nowhere he suddenly fell dead to the ground. The mage met a mysterious death. At the same moment he won the war against the demons. The mage said the world be waiting for the one obsessed with strength. The only one would be succumb to temptations or corruption. The send then change completely to the subway, where people are watching a UFC match. Man, it was the 17th fight of the world champion, defending his title around the octagon. Everyone was cheering and shooting for the challenger. In the blue left corner was some guy named Patrick. The challenger 120 kilos of pure day muscle like a bodybuilder. And everyone is yelling for him to kill. Meanwhile in the right corner is the world champion with 37 fights and 37 wins. Someone who has never lost a single match to this day and is ripped at 5% body fat. 100 kilos of muscle black high with swag. The two are face to face. The announcer says that Kim Jin Ho doesn't seem to be using his foot lightly. And Patrick said in an interview that he must have an injured foot, and that today is the day he loses. Everyone is starting to think that eventually Kim Jin Ho has to lose. The guy is already 48 years old. There is no way he is going to keep winning forever. And with that the bell rings to start the fight. Patrick didn't even move yet, and he is already frozen stiff. The presence of that bastard in front of him was terrifying. It was expected from the champion. But the Orion knows that Gui's leg is injured, so he goes toward him to try to take down and throw him to the ground. He goes slow to grab his leg, saying that his Gui is arrogant for even coming to the ring injured. But the moment he is just about to touch the leg, and is smiling because he think he got it, there is already a laser coming from the side. Blood gushes in the arena. And that's in the fight is over. Man, Patrick is almost up over there. Kim Jin Ho says that we was using his leg. Otherwise it the beto is down. What a crocky guy. Some time later he puts on his coat, slams the locker shirt, and is getting ready to leave. A man kind of joking tells him to wait, saying there are people who want to interview him, that you should talk to the fans and all that stuff. When his schedule is open, he is got better things to do. His friend says he needs to understand it's pouring rain outside. Traffic is a disaster. Jin Ho say that's even better. Get a room and get here faster. Suddenly he already slammed the door and the friend tries to left, saying it is 30 kilometers away. But the guy was the even there and more. He vanished in front of everyone, and now it is the reporter who are annoying the coach. Wanting to know how he created the legend, the protagonist goes back home. While the coach thinks it is honestly going to be sad, he remembers the first time he saw this kid fight. He debuted by finishing the opponent with a punch. Next fight was an elbow. Most fight didn't last more than 30 seconds. And all the coach can feel is sadness. He is certain Kim Jin Ho won't even incapable of fighting him until the day he retires, and then he tells the reporters that the lecture was just to make the fight harder. Some time later, arriving at the apartment, he is walking with 14 floor full of presents at the entrance from fans. And Bro the Gui is the world champion, right? His place is again mansion, and it's an apartment building. You get it, the Gui made a mansion in the building. But what he loves the most is right there, man. It is the gamer PC. That is right, bro. Our UFC world champion is gaming addict, not just any game but one called Last Savior. A game so hard that most Korean users will usually like this kind of niche. Gave up. Kim Jin Ho, however, has been playing it every single day for the past 10 years. He has been honing his skills in fighting and stronger people and monsters. That as how he has been living his life, the protagonist Mila saying he hopes he does the win today like always. There was his character Femi on the battlefield. What he liked the most was the feeling of challenging a creature. And once again, he was going up against the Demon King Azar. Some time passes and Jinwo's expression changes. He was face to face with the Demon King. But the creature had almost no health left. The looks at the HP but he couldn't believe it. At this rate he was going to win. He hits the Demon King. Telling the bastard to defend himself properly, he tries an attack to the legs. And wonder how he didn't dodge something so obvious. The poor NPC is trying to fight back, but it as though Kim Jin-ho's blondie character is finishing him all. While wondering why the patterns today were way too simple because every single attack I was throwing was landing perfectly. He activates Aliona's aura. And a bunch of slashes appear on the Demon King when he turned on the page. Today his intention was to challenge again, aiming for victory, but right now I was scared of winning. He tells the Demon King to hold on and try something different. That he was going to win, that he was going to lose today. Kim Jin-ho was even bending his finger command string somehow not to win this. But it was inevitable in the end he landed a slasher that killed the Demon King. With that he was congratulated for being the first person to kill Demon King Azar. At that moment Kim Jin-ho's expression changed. They had become a champion and into Kaliduran world's the most motivated streak and then Luis Sanchez. Wondering who he is going to fight now, maybe he should go out running in this rain, then look for a bed in the forest. But then in the middle of the crowd a golden light appears and a strange lightning bolt strikes. When he feels something approaching and walks up, the lightning seems to have struck right into his apartment. The screen goes black and he feels a strange sense of vertigo. While his whole body seems kind of numb, he looks up and sees the rain and wonders when he even left his house. But when he lowers his eyes he says he is wearing some weird orange pants. Suddenly someone puts a hand on his shoulder and calls him B218, a blonde girl with blue eyes. Says they don't have time for this. They need to escape from there right now. He shouldn't be standing there like an idiot. Has a bit confused and says the no 172 on his shirt. And instantly wonders where the hell he is. In front of him there is a bunch more inmates trying to escape from a prison that looks more like a castle looking at one of the flags. He thinks he recognizes the eagle as pattern. But then 172 tells him to wake up to reality because this is the last chance they will have to escape. If not now they will never get out of the butcher as prison. Look at the guy's face, man. And obviously he already recognized the name Witcher as prison 1 already like the start of the story, right bro? The guys escaped by lightning. God looked down and said, "That's enough, go to another world. This one is already too up." Obviously even though the protagonist realizes what is happening, he still kind of the usual 172 pulls in next to them. A bunch of prisoners kept going by pulling the gate in at top of war. Kim Jin-ho wanted to believe this was a dream, but at the same time it felt way too real. He starts running beside the girl trying to understand how he ended up inside the game he used to play, until he decides to calm down and escape to this place first and then worry about how to solve this mystery. But suddenly he stopped and tells 172 to pay attention. This was weird. This was supposed to be the most secure prison of all, and everything was way too messed up. 172 says it is because Director Clark is not there. Looks like he stepped out to deal with something. And this is everyone's chance to escape. Kim Jin-ho however suddenly grabs her by the collar and runs in the opposite direction. He tells him to let go, saying he is a maniac. But he was sure this prison was way too secure for it to fall into chaos like this, and something told him to move forward through that one was going to live much longer. 172 is trying to resist, telling him to let go of her, and at that moment the archers managed to open the door and start celebrating, saying, "The jury finally frees the jury all going on," while our boy takes her further inside the prison. But obviously the smiles of the escapees disappeared really fast bro out of nowhere and start flying like everywhere. And the rector car is right in front of them as the Gui turn and say this place really is full of pathetic worms. He gives the order for Zeb to be killed and the probe storm in 172 as WHS there. While our boy says right away that this was clearly a trap, now the criminals are all rushing back into the prison desperate bro. The walls were painted in blood. Sometime later Clark tells them to gather the survivors. The line of criminals forms bro only our protagonist and his friend are different copy and pasti was usap Harja Esrega next to him almost throwing up actually wow. She threw up in her hand all of it. It would have been better to just vomit on the floor. And worst of all for vomiting she got punched for moving. Gino is shocked that she read that violent even with kids. No wonder riots happen here all the time. If something like that happens again he is going to have to get involved in a fight. And then Clark shows up in front of him like 78 meter after style saying the kid is either really lucky or way too much of a coward to have tried escaping. But to him, that as typical every match is like that nothing but a coward telling people like them rivals is disgusting. He gets in our protagonist speech and says that Arahan is going to regret surviving today the Guile face. And the protagonist stares at his reflection wondering if he really was just called Arahan. Awake after a beautiful Bloomsky and our boys walkie, he had to spend the whole day stacking rockets. But like an because there was a big reason just to the wouldn't they be able and had something to do looking at his own hand all busted up or boy I don't even know what to tell anymore. Kim Jin-ho 218 Erahan will figure it out later but the same guy is complaining that just lifting a rock already makes him run out of breath. And his body is way too weak not to mention the side has a much but he tried to awesome medic and nothing happened. It seemed like a complete failure. But to him it made no sense. Arahan should know how to use magic that as because Arahan is the name of the most powerful mage family in that region that when it hits him. He was from that family probably but was discarded for having no magical talent. Considering how cruel and sadistic that family is, that would make perfect sense. Then the guy tells him to take that rock over to the other side. The protagonist just obeys and carries the rock. He is looking forward to something specific. On the system window it says that due to excessive data synchronization is stopping while the GUI was so overpowered. In real life this GUI is struggling to download his village yesterday. And the next day at Mel team or well Mel is a strong word at the time of rock with water and bread which also looks more like a rocky. The protagonist complaining. He has been training hard but with food like this he won't table any Moscow than 172 shows up. And asked if she is not going to add the bread again. He says no and tells her to take it on canvas. Gino says, this friend is peculiar. What do you mean? At least I go no way no eating. So meetings of probably Kim Jin-ho is wondering with this person and I'll just say person for now. Until I know if it is a guy or girl is locked up in her being so young and 172 tells him to be careful. Lately it seems like because of our guy everyone is workload interest and nobody is happy about it. No it made sense to Tojino way so many people were staring at him in that place. And 172 tells him to be careful especially with 589 the leader of the prisoners. Wo also has a notorious reputation in the arena. Jin-ho saying, it is better not to talk to him. Since she made an opat race to boot 172 say she already knows everyone so she can just ignore it. And our protagonist stands up saying, we're going to find out right now. A bunch of prisoners start approaching and they says, the situation she mentioned is about to happen at that moment. 172 is startled when she says the guy is number alright bro. In theory he is the leader of the prisoners right? But honestly it seems he is the leader of the Bald Dang man so far only our protagonist and that friend have had no way that's a coincidence. And the leader says I heard the reason their workload interested was because of that kid 218 just wants to know what he has to do with that. Well I mean, It is your fault, right, you bastard? Yes, about to make up an excuse. But there is already a hand size of his head in front of him, bro. It opened a crater in the ground and 172 just out for our boy. But someone grabbed the ladder beat the neck. What is that, bro? You think Kim Jin Ho is going to play around? They already launched a carrot in the GUI as Chin, his friend, and the bad guys are all freaking out, calling out to the boss. And the protagonist expression changed, right, ma? Yes, not the same as before, and no, his knee did absolutely nothing. 589 as what was that? And no, our boy gets grabbed by the collar and is about to get airplane spawn. Man, the guy was thrown against the wall. Like protagonist in a couple S5, bro, his friends right there scared, calling out to 218. But the boss IFY didn't just know he can rest assured as market for that. Wager, boss. You better watch out because the synchronization just hit 100%, bro. Look at the villain is little green finale. Someone installed fiber optic in this course system that never loads, and the breakdown is about to begin. He is already getting back up surrounded by that aura. Or with his fist full of blue energy, the kids all driving bus now waste was auras. Doing that little hand flex and footworm of Wama, he is already in MMS standstill. The Guito stepped into the ring. The boss was saying for someone abandoned by his own client. He really thinks a lot of himself. But Jingo just tells him to shut up already and come into the ring. The boss tired of the talent runs straight at him, bro. Our boy says an opening in the leg and takes a low kick. But what you target at World is the Gui grabbed his foot saying that it is gonna learn a lesson. No, but again what you target at World is the baby yang most in and landed on a high on the side of the hill. The boss looked at a little desert. But before he could recover, bam on more under the chin, man the hummus will talk what the gate has said that put stop. Takas another solid kick and stumbles back without the boss hit the ground out call. And Orgui still being dramatic size that's way he does the leg using his leg, which suddenly the whole prison is already pulling out their apas lectures heading toward our boy. Because you can't even call logistics Neves right, man, but or dude stepped on the boss, pulled his arm and warned if they came in closer. This guy was going to need help eating. For the rest of his life without the belt heads Alfros not knowing what to say. Jin have stomped on the arm again. And said he still saw a lot of people standing there if they wanted to stop this. Then called the guards right away. On of them takes off running saying that when the guards come and free the boss, he is gonna die. Apparently in the end all the guys surrender and just carried the boss away. Sometime later in the cell 172 once I don't know how he did that, saying it was way too amazing. Not to mention the kid look at like he had grown taller out of nowhere. What happened? The protagonist say it was the result of falling rocks back and forth. But obviously that was the result of sensing his real life status with the games. It as the first team the protagonist brings his real life body. Because it is more overpowered than the one from the game. You film usually is always the guy who has a trash body and ends up in an amazing one. And know what are our boys impressed with? Are the stats. Z are a handful of S-Rama immunities, bro. Immortal duelist challenger rank S-rank archmage. Mangrim has it all. What heaven's strength is that his class is really mage. And because of that he has 50% or less agility, strength, and resistance. And even though KS in the mage class he literally has 0 mana. In other words, he is losing half of his attributes for absolutely nothing. Not to mention that this makes no sense because he belongs to the Arahan family, which is full of geniuses. Manuel 172 is just starting wondering what this lunatic is rambling about, laughing to himself. There is no way the guy is laying on the bed trying to figure out how it is possible. He reincarnated into such a garbage body. But first he needs to calm down and start considering his options. He has got that so-called growth penalty, which is what is cutting 50-50-50, but even then it is still better than 0. Not to mention physical strength, Isometric hack knows how to develop even better. The only obvious problem is that the food there is trouble and isn't helping at all. What I is curious to understand better is this role play of S ranked talents. If you had alt head and child 5 mana, then he be completely busted. An arch-match as blessingly that is for very favorable but it as Aldudi is going to try to find a way to solve this no mana issue there as gotta be some solution right. Then suddenly the guy from outside the cell starts calling out several numbers. Every child is forced to laugh the child he asks what's going on and 117. Those are the people in the death queue bro basically LL have one last man and then it's good day. He says he gets it, then asks the friend as name. To the sadness of some and the joy of others. The name is Ryusoya really is a friend. And our boy introduces himself as Zid Arahan Arahar's a pretty ugly name. So from now on I am calling him Zed cause Zid is badass. You feel me? Zid asks Ryu if he is going to be in prison long while says he will be escaping soon. Protagonist wants to know how he says it is simple the guard up front has a key. Zid thinks he is going to steal it but Ryu says it is impossible the guy may be retired but as F5 Circle Click director Clark is the epitome of a knight who had smash. That is because in the world of last Savior knives and mages had each other. And knows that as wondering how he is going to escape this pledge that's going to be a 5 circle person where this is the first time AV in circles used for someone who does not is a magic. Then Ryu says it's not that hard you just have to steal it without him not teaching for someone who came from the streets that's the only problem is that Clark is very attentive. So far he has taken a single opportunity. Zed Miller and says no he really says a way to escape with his pledge the next day war is about to start again and one of the guards announces that by orders of the boss. They will have to carry even more rocks today the people are complaining say. It's not going to work so everyone is going to do the guard puts a sword to someone else's neck. And one of the bad guy says he just wants to know why they're pushing them so hard there is no reason for this the guard looks to the scene and says they should already know whose fault it is. Obviously everyone stares at Z. And then the guard talk. And says he will be back in a few minutes. 172 warns him that clearly there is setting him up for the others to jump him oh yeah. Our protagonist already noticed that Hans is creator who follow the code of honor are acting very differently than they should. Will Ryu is offering he is not getting involved in this. But it looks like he has got some kind of plan because saya. He is not going to let the obviously all the inmates are coming to the same conclusion. To make the work as they're going to have to kill Zeke, the protagonist smiled and sighed. It really is an unavoidable situation all that looks rushed toward him saying, he is way too confident. But as soon as the first one comes in bomb, has welcome with a entity. Bowling ball drops to the floor and everyone is scared no wondering who is going to be the next crazy on to charge it. But Zed just says for them to all come at him at once already and there goes the trail again but the first one that comes is again met with a hammer blow to the head while he is throwing, elbowed and smashing. Zeke is pissed that these bastards kept coming one by one and then another and another. Instead of just attacking him altogether. Another one falls to the ground and they says, these guys are really lacking aggression. And just as hypnotic something headaches just in team and dodges an attack. Another day and more headbutts punches, that's a full on brawl everywhere. And from a distance Ryu is watching Alti the boy was laughing a trail of bodies on the ground I had no idea it was this strong. But right at that moment someone next to him, calls out to Ryu and tells him to come along man while she is already drop kicking guys in the stomach as always they pull out to si 3 cm knives. Which imam are big no impressive even at least that's what she said but Zed already lands on the next guy's face. Telling him again to come at him with everything. And obviously at that point, he was having fun, the guy fought his whole life. So if there is honor in hell like as it is having his life on the line there is nothing better than dodging an attack that could have killed you. That adrenaline is what got him so addicted both to that game and to martial arts. He hits on more in the chin. Another in the back of the neck while going crazy bro clearly not right in the head. Obviously until someone steps on his back and calls out for the damn Zed Arahan Imagen Bull grabs the cracked out albino kid bow. and tells him that if he does not stop, his friend is going to the obviously gain reward been captured, but our boy just smiled and says, he made a huge mistake. He was trying to break free beating and everything, and the cracked kid Boo says the cat is going to ditto a dua circle night. So it's not that Shami food he jumps into attack, but obviously the dog gets it weak as. The guy looks like he does not even know what just happened, saying they disappeared, and when he looks to the side there they are already chatting Chami. Kid Boo wants to know what just happened, what kind of magic she used, or Gui says was the magic bro. A move in asking started to approach, looks like a ballerina. But lands a perfect hit to the net. The poor Gui got dragged across the floor, but right then Clark shows up calling for no. 218, saying he is going to have to explain himself. But someone speaks up and says 218 was the victim as Ryu explains that they had been taken hostage. And it was saved him. Clark looks at the pile of guys knocked out on the floor, and they say on species that these guys only ever get beat up. He then says he wants to ask Zed something. He wants to know if somehow he has been using manakin of uninterested Zed says maybe. But then, Clark activates his aura. The prisoners on the ground get obvious to say they can't breathe. While Ryu is still standing, drops to the floor, no that makes sense. But Roh Altat Blue or Gui is just standing there untouched inside the mana barrier. It was one of the strong traits resistance to suppression have finally figured it out. It was a mental immunity ability. The Gui is so full of himself, he say. Etal makes sense. He reached the pinnacle of Earth 127 visor. Yang at the top and the wall. There is no way some mediocre person from a world like this would ever scare him. Clark however didn't like seeing the kid still standing. He is losing his man. He wants to know how the hell a bastard with no man is still resisting this. The Gui even pulls more of the aura and starts pushing harder and more, and he probably crap his pants for sure. But TS rank suppression resistance is absolute man, and with his hand on his waist they is totally chilling. Clark's expression changes. He can't even understand how this is possible. The rest of the guards are begging him to stop, saying at this rate everyone here is going to die. Suddenly Clark deactivates his aura. Staring at Zed, he says, it is better. They try to calm down otherwise. At any moment he is going to shoot his throat. He gives the boy one last stare and turns away, telling everyone to get back to work. But Manzi tells him to wait a second and says he's got something to say. He says he is tired of doing that idiotic rock stacking thing. And he is more than fed up with this bunch of prisoners attacking him, and that's why he is planning to end it. Al-Raf asks what this lunatic is talking about. To Exin replies he wants to join the death row. Bro Clark questions whether he has an idea. What he is saying it's not something he can just change his mind about. Later Barmois says Clark can even record it in a crystal band if he wants. He is not backing down. Clark says perfect then. And tells someone to bring a registration item right away. Zed says that no, that he is on death row. He wants to request his last meal. He wants a beer steak, a big enough portion. To fill his belly. Looks like that is something really expensive. Because the guards fetch say it all. Bro say it is madness. Obviously that top quality steak is prepared only in the Southern Empire in the game. It was one of the rarest foods you can consume delicious at among to restore even strong close to AJ. Some people even at it in the middle of battle to boost themselves and win the fight. Man boy talk seems to be planning to stop Pilot. I don't get it. Let us see what has up to he tells Clark that considering the family he is from and the cost of his life, it's a fair request. Besides he warns that he knows what the real thing is like, so if they try to trick him the whole deal will be voided. Root, so who wants to know why the hell this lunatic is trying today. Then Zen say he forgotten about his friend. The two of them are on death row. No, the staff hesitates. But Clark interrupts and says to follow orders. Since it is the life of an Arahan, it's worth it. Our girl thanks them. Well, obviously Ryu is freaking out, wanting to know why he is dragged into this next scene. He is in his room getting ready, apparently just finding plastic takes over a way more boy is using this team to keep training. Ryu on the other hand thinks it makes no sense he is going to DIY so way bother exercising. Z10 revealed a special little system 100 as the max number for any attribute. And all remaining experience gets funneled into the one that has been leveled yet unseen she has 100 in every other attribute. Obviously all the experience he earns goes into mana rank in the middle of this award shows up calling for the two of them. And Zid already celebrated saying it as finally heard the mail the extremely rare state is being prepared as word assured the beef takes a bitter trace with emotion. Saying he has never eaten anything so good in his life to which that size don't forget that as thanks to my some of our guys negative status effects are being partially erased. He can feel like part of the experience that was blocked is finally entering his body. Manuel Simeon enters Clark as Ron and says the banquet has begun. He celebrates and orders Noah to approach the two of them. While wondering what the hell happened that day, the boy didn't resist and yet Clark felt something strange. It was like his magic didn't resonate even though he is retired. He is still a mature child like a young man with no mana should not be able to do something like that. Something terrible must have happened that day. But today he is sure he will get the information he needs. Looking at the bracelet he is sure the humiliation will be hundreds of times worse. Sometime later the banquet is over and the two of them are stuffed. Rivers say he is ready to debut or boy says unfortunately. He is not know his body was full of energy and strength, the same feeling he had. When he spent the whole day punching the sandbag, the door opened and he turns around saying that they finally arrived, already asking Clara what they plans to do now that they at an everything. Clara starts to say something but our boy tells him to wipe off that sad smile. He should be disappointed. There was they even a little bit left. Clark thought he is just getting more and more pissed, saying that this bastard thinks too highly of himself just because of his bloodline. But it is all good. He puts a hand on his shoulder, thinking, it has been he will make the boy succumb to agony today. Poor old man 40 years old struggling to deal with a teenager as now it is revealed Clark wants to take advantage of having someone from the Arahan family there. To extract information and detail about how that family works is worth good money. He can activate the power of the bracelet. And Zid notices it instantly that man is a magical tool. Clark asks what he is thinking about that sensation. But of course Zid is just standing there completely fine. Ryu is nearly fainting and collapses to the side. Then Zid tells Clark they should buff a little better. Clark loses it and goes in with both hands on Zid's shoulders. But nothing happens. Zin just gives his hand a little pat. And now apparently the fight is about to start because he tells Clark that he warned him to take it easy. If he wanted to kill someone he should have done it the proper way and not just kept winning. Clark thought was all twisted if not understanding why his magical tool isn't working. That would only be possible if the kid had a magical circle above his. But at his age there is no way that doesn't make sense at all. Which only leaves on other option. He must have some kind of bloodline from the Iron Hands that can charge out powers Clarkman. To get to the limit he had to train and practice hard his whole life, but even if failed by discarded by the family can resist this artifact. Suddenly the item shoots off. And Zita asks if he is finally going to stop with this nonsense. Apparently Clark gives up on threatening him and just lowers his head saying that they can resist all he wants. Note that the decree has come though from the Majesty. He will be executed tomorrow morning. You should enjoy his last night in this world. Sometime later in his room he is making some notes. Even though he shouldn't tell much, he is writing it all down. The problem is that he is dozing off exhausted. His mana was used to the limit to activate that artifact. He wants to finish the report but the pen slips from his hand. A while later Ryu wakes up in the room and Zid wants to know if he is finally getting up. He tells him to stop complaining if he feels nauseous or like throwing up. But our boy compliments him, saying he really does have fast hands. Oh man, he was going to say anjing, but I felt that moment when he leaned forward to fall. It was suspicious. Itogi is sitting down and falls forward, got up just to fall again while trying. But now there is the reason man our boy praises him, saying he did a good job for anyone else it would have been insane. But he was really quick and sneaky. Ryutug says it only worked because he distracted Claire. And he wants to know if he is really young after all that or boy says he ain't, and then Ryu says there is definitely something shady about him at that moment. Zid decides to ignore that and check his status. Mana is still at 0 but no everything else went down to -40. Meaning he is a bit stronger. That stick really made a difference. His body is becoming more and more comfortable to inhabit. And you can't even imagine how good it left him with 100% status. Then he tells his friend Riri going to have to escape tonight, so if he has recovered it as Team Ryu saya, this is madness. Clark is going to notice them showing up any second. No, but your Gui obviously aware says not to worry, he's probably sleeping. Ryu is curious but the reason is obvious, right folks? That bracelet Clark pulls an absurd amount of mana from the body but it causes exhaustion right after. Angshin Jizet saw the item shot of Garland head knows the Gui is asleep all thanks to the fact that he was taken to that room and this Gui walks around with the case. The plan was the team to leverage home and the two of them get up. Ryu was hesitant. But our boy says the hard part is already over. He kicks the bars and they fall right down. Bro, it's not like a few bits of metal were going to stop him. Obviously on the outside the first guard is already reached. Wanting to know what he thinks he is doing, the way the replace is it obvious. Bro, I am escaping this place. Didn't they even say what he think? And the two are already outside running through the yard, but turns out them organized guards are already lined to pat the gate. Oh poor Gui, we should up to stop him. Man, just look at the Gui in the middle. Bro, you've got zero chance. The guard shot at it to stop. But that just rushes forward, scaring Ryu. The first Gui in the way looks like he has got 6 kids. He is a heroes past jogging easily. Then plants a hand rig in the Gui's face, slamming on guard into another like playing bowling with dudes. Poor guards are already a light outbound and twisted before the second one could react. Bang! A hit strikes to the jugular. A clean tap that knocked the air right out of him. Zack keeps moving in from the right. And now the rest were basically getting Nathan Alive. He kicks the first Gui through, while the ons being are more focused on defending. Han attacking some full trace as what swim with Zid dukes under 8 and lands a heel kick strike in the Gui's ribs. The Gui practically fell on his feet. Zid even blocked the next sword swing with a hand on the ground. Another kick. Mantis Dude is the king of Taekwondo. Another full went face first into the deer. And 2 more poor souls came from behind and looked at the petuous face. Enjoying himself like always. I don't even know what he did, but he landed a kick on one Gui that knocked him into the other man. Wheeler, you can't even believe what he is saying. Some of them later just look at Clark's face now totally dumbfounded, realizes he fell asleep at the worst possible time. His Guis are all wrecked on the ground begging for forgiveness. Unfortunately no. 218 had escaped obviously. He gives the order immediately to start the hunt. But the stand shifts now to a hotel in a village near the detention center. Rio is looking around checking if Ion is coming. Obviously he and our boys stand out a lot in those orange uniforms. At least Ryuk knows the whole area, so he starts showing Zid around and explaining how things work. First thing they needed to do was blend in better with the locals. So they hit up a beggar Estas to steal his clothes. Bruce saying that was the best way to hide. Reyes said he'll go grab some food and our boy asks how since they don't have any money, but the little thief is a femboy, right bro? He is gonna steal it is and he even tells it to just wait there. Like as a character he'll be right back on or 2 hours later. Our boy has a different colored eye that is because the thief even broke him a contact lens. Here in the southern region, where Bombard adore the old hero and that is we blue eyes are kind of a trendy item, our boy guesses it might be because of the clothes that the main character Toris Barrow belonged to. That was the Sword 10 family and their enemies obviously were the Arahants. Just like they had the Ace Ocean and were opposites. You and the eye color was different and obviously for that reason he couldn't go around flashing those glowing red eyes. Some time later, they're in a being in the forest. It is kind of like the beginning after the end. where the protagonist gets lost in the forest with the elf gear except her in this case it is with the fanboy instead and only now is reality starting to hit Z. He is wondering how the hell he ended up inside a game and what kind of situation is this where now he has to sleep in a stable. But the madman said that at last life is full. What Zed really wants to know is why this crazy Guerrero was always glued to him also. It seemed like the guy kept telling him a side character which didn't make any sense. He still needs help, so ALL kept real close for nobody needs to be careful he doesn't know him well yet he doesn't know how long you can trust this person thanks man or boys lonelyhood. To it does make sense Regel was 40 years old spent all this time fighting and playing games. There was a single soul in the house next morning he wakes up and is already impressed that none of this was a dream. Ryu says he is impressed that Annabelle like Zed can sleep in a place like this. Zed asks him if he likes this place and his friend just says something obvious right bro. There is no such thing as leaking when you report you sleep, wherever you can evade. Took our boy jacket this guy's life halfway through he was also super rich in his previous life. And like a good capitalist bro he gets up and says it as time to make money you can level up and get strong. If you don't even have a place to sleep or at you say, that is going to be really hard but definitely being haunted by Kra, and soon and obviously a little bit fun. Zed asks if he is talking about stealing. But our boy says that is impossible. There is no way to steal no good to get rich in a place like this first. We have to make money in a fair and Hons way in other words the arena right boys and here we are in the underground arena. Where sun fleet and it is face to face forehead to forehead look at that smoke little green. If there is one place he feels, at home it is right there and not that I realize it does this dude kind of look like a man, Mikasa, from Attack on Titan let us carve that black hair like it is Mikasa. Incredible and rare air bro in the crowd in the madness of the fighters. Rui of course already says you must be thinking something where because this must be the wrong place. But the madman says no way this place is perfect man the guy is beating someone else's shoulder. But then Bam gets cannon punched in the mouth and is poor brawling no less hair bro. Punches to the ribs beat it. Wherever you can get him it as shows the crowd as cheering laughing while you is horrified. And our boy is celebrating the fight 11 was better than he expected. He thought it with on purpose. But turns out, they're not so bad after all 10 Walmart Yujiro Hamilton's running in. And lands a solid on the big guy the guy suffers for a second actually more than a second because he gets hit with the whole combo. Reeves is freaked out telling Z to rethink this. But then he notices his friend had disappeared. Everyone in the audience is panicking. Bro Hama has blood on his hands but look who is standing there holding his arm. It is Mikasa White Imianzi telling him to go a little Yasir. Walmart Yujiro is standing there confused. Bro of course you already thinks the guy lost his man. And the gears in the crown thing. This is the modern world asking the ref if he got paid to let someone the Yujiro rips his arm out of that script asking if he is some kind of noble. And the FVS are that wisi. But man, that says absolutely not they should be able to tell just be lucky. He is just some street kid and the crowd gets mad telling Yujiro to beat up the brand who is interrupting the fight. Zed says that as fan then he will take responsibility which affect that will entertain everyone. Obviously Ruth does it. That's a good idea and starts going off ranting a million things in Zed's ear. But Zed tells him to calm down saying Elvis' friend needs to do is bet everything he has on him for this fight. Rio doesn't want to but Zed tells him to remember Brute that made the at was way too good. So after this fight, Fairy gonna have another banquet there he is face to face the other guy saya admires the kid for being trusty in the head at least he doesn't look scared. But then something catches his attention the kid as Stans was active his breathing seemed steady. And he was staring at him with a killer aura. Clearly his posture was better than anyone else he'd ever seen in that ring suddenly it as Yujiro who is shaking. Telling himself it is impossible he is this chair of Akinia. The is to rush in saying none of this makes sense. But he is immediately man with a cannon punch to the chain. And boom, then Masafau chat turns out and Zed even plays the cards, telling the Gui never start a fake throwing a punch behind the shoulder. He already starts throwing a combo at the poor Gui who is trying to dodge. But keeps getting popped right in the jaw. Warboy explains that you always keep your arm forward. It serves both for defense and offense. Poor Yujiro is eating a full batch of machine gun punches. Zenchu keeps that arm forward defense and attack. Yujiro's face is getting all swollen up. Where Ryu has his eyes shut praying and Rei slowly opens them just in time to sell the powerful already yelling in the dirt. Meanwhile, Mikasa is over there all smoke smiles who pro Ryu can't believe it. But I don't know how he can't believe it. Did you not sell Zip get down a prison full of people? Poor Yujiro Mai. He is trying to open his eyes saying blurry shapes. I can't believe he is about to lose to a kid like this right in front of everyone. He tries on last punch. But Zed dodges with his and goes full bet down again. One last clean hit right in the middle of the pit. And he falls flat on his back. Warboy already turns to the ref and tells him to call the match. He won, but right brought this is a betting house and the Gui know if he declares the winner, a lot of people are gonna boom up, but he doesn't really have much choice. Yujiro is not getting upset that Zed has declared the winner. Obviously the smoke on size defined was the event announced for a warm-up sometime later with a bag of coins in hand. He asked his friend, with your reality smoochie, in theory it was 60 people betting against him. And only one in favor the betting. Gui says the calculation is correct. You followed the exact process. Zed insists with the amount that was bet it should have been way more. He just for you and just be the loom. On his face it is clear they didn't bet everything above. Right then someone tall approaches. Long blue hair walking up and we can already say the storyteller as talent cool little red dress. Only problem is she has got feline face. Like no way she is gonna be a friend to our boy. She is clearly gonna bring nothing but trouble. She walks up saying she wants to have a little chat. But he just asked who are you man, the world is not even modern. But this on has already got filler. Don't look at the size of that lower lip. She says that for him not to know who she is, this must be his first time. Harry, she is the owner of the arena known as Herna. But Zeta already walks past her saying, it is good talk now, but he is not in the mood for talking. Bruce already know teaching. This is not going to end well, and two gigantic guys blue already blocked the way like a wall in front of our boy and Bolde Helok 90 degrees up. And asked if everyone wants to end up on the ground. The Aaron Jawad dudes are all confused, linking the cat has gone completely crazy. From behind, Harna says that the warrior high defeated was brought in from the big city. He needs to understand what that man is. She will let him go today. But he can be sure to meet again somewhere much more relaxing. Oh boy, this on as Dangerous. She plays the skin of Dangerous game run boy and she says she really likes very strong boys. Yikes, looks like he slipped away just one fancy. Because you are the next day at a bear. And you as exhausted say. That's it as crazy in the head for acting that confident in front of that woman. He has to understand sure that whole place or boy talk. Says she just seems like an old fox addicted to money. Ryu says he is right Ableton. She is known as the fox around her man and she probably tried to get close to him. To gain some kind of advantage, but man, it's not the first time Zen has been seen as a genius. As soon as he started getting famous and winning a bunch of fighters, a million calls started coming in, everyone offering contracts and endless options. Back then he was a bit more naive and got scammed several times. But Bashir Luger he found his manager the one who made him a champion. Obviously all of that talks him very clearly what it takes to reach the top. Since he called her an old fox for her wisdom soul. The defense on who was really wizard the fancy made say ordered is server Ryu already wants to dig in. But Corby tells him to wait. Clearly they were being scammed. This was far from the quality they ordered. This was the that ultra rare state. Otherwise they wouldn't be able to serve it to everyone in the bar who say, whatever I am hungry on the steak hits your belly it is all the same. But that size if they paid for a beer this steak that is exactly what they're gonna get a chal over one of the waiters. Wu immediately say if he is going to comply better responsible as this blasters then. Z completely ignores what the Gui said and just says, "This tech is fake, you better bring the real on before complaining about the waiter ask if he has lost his man or boy tells him to tell the boss." And now the Gui is tertaya. This street kid is not a good size fan if he really wants to meet the boss and follow him. Obviously he doesn't let anywhere do it. Inside the boss's office is a fat Gui and a bunch of goons. Already pointing their face at the door, the Gui asks if he is the customer causing trouble. To which Z just replies, at the honest causing trouble are the people selling fake stuff in this place. The fat Gui sends the first gun forward saying the kid doesn't understand the situation he is in. But Z is already smelling another little fine for him to enjoy the bar. Gui sporting a Russian jewel to get smacked in the face like always. Another one gets his arm broken. Then a hit to the neck of one dog gets another one's a clean shot and throws the Gui on his back. The fat boss, who was celebrating at first, is already starting to see the situation turning bad for him. The whole group is laying on the floor with something broken. And Zid is standing in the middle of them. All you tells them to be careful that this is the kid who took down Walmart Yujiro. And apparently the fat Gui had a similar story. But though it was just a rumor, no one wants to know what does that when the boys approach and say he is actually quite reasonable. First, he will give back the money he paid. Second, he will pay for the steak he ate at the price of the real birdie steak. The fat Gui screams saya. They're just a bunch of little trocas. But you probably screwed who probably chose Midfall and Rose in bed all happy celebrating and saying he is never slept in a place this soft. He then turns over and praises our boy saying he really is amazing as expected of a noble from a powerful family. San saya it's easy to negotiate when you have power right BRO and with that another night falls. As always Manrio is there with that peculiar look on his face in the middle of the night. Out of nowhere suddenly he gets up and calls for Z. He asks if he is ready or boy doesn't answer. Sorry you gets up and leaves but obviously rich. Man Z was awake the whole time and saw the whole thing. A few days pass. Ryu walks into the room saying he is starving. He wants to know what time they're going on to eat. Z has been training all day. Ryu asks him how it is possible for him not to take even a single break. The protagonist stands up and takes a look at his stats. He says unfortunately they're not going up anymore no matter how much he trains or checks. Mana is still stuck at 0. Maybe it is because he is going from nothing to on rank. That is the hardest part. It is taking a bit longer. He turns to Ryu saying training is over. And it is time for him to go get a steak for breakfast. It has been 3 days since the last one giving the goose a chance to recover. Because the last few teams they went the atas 10 portion and in the end the staff had to pay them. Then Zid asks Ryu how many coins they still have. He replies that they almost all because the cost of living in this city is crazy. Zid says he understands but man the truth is this is a game he played for 10 years. He knows the economy very well. 50 gold coins what they earned is not the kind of thing you burn road. In a couple days like that maybe you think she is an idiot just a noble who doesn't understand how the world works. And knows it wants to know is it great what as he did or does he have some kind of addiction. For now he kept pretending he has been noticed anything. Because he hasn't seen a sign of betrayal but eventually he is going to net. To understand why already at the bar one of the guys opens the door. And tells the boss that she her and his team got a plan on. He tells the guy to make sure everyone is ready. As soon as our boy shows up as welcome it with a Chanley late banquet. The waiter says he hopes our boy feels at home. Obviously Zid already finished his work and wants to know why they're being so friendly out of nowhere. The moment they walk in he looked around then they spot an assassins. The restaurant looked the same as always. Interrupting his talk, Ryu wrapped a bit of meat and lettuce and told him to take a bit. Our boy grabbed his hand and said alright he and but he kept an eye on everything around them. But obviously as soon as he bites it he feels something of and tells Ryu to spit it to he throws it out immediately of course. Wanting to know what kind of poison nonsense this is. Zed says the amount is it's not going to kill them but something is clearly going. And he opens up his status crea, and now understands why the staff was being so friendly. Obviously with absolute poison resistance nothing happens to him, but the problem is that after eating a lot he eventually digests the samurai wants to know if he is really sure it's poison. He didn't smell anything, didn't notice anything. So why can't he eat it and just size it if the choice is an airhead just to change the subject? Which makes Ryoma says. So it is like that is not really an untranslatable protagonist in a It esteemed to Maxius Guis by portraying something like that sometime later the boss shows up clearly peasant. Wanting to know what the kids want with him, Zed is sitting at the back of the table and says he is just curious and had a few questions. But the boss notices that all the plates are empty, so he at and the poison should kick in any second, but then he says he is not hurt to any. He's not going to talk to people who just want to extort money from him. Zed says that as he chancel the boss completely misunderstanding the situation, he tells Ryu to give their friend a bit of meth so they can talk over a meal. Obviously Ryu hands over that meth raw, that's probably been in his hand for like 40 minutes, and the fat guy is just standing there right. Wanting to know why they were offering something like that or boy saya, it's a pledge offering. If the guy accepts eating it, then he'll accept any condition afterward. The boss says he's not interested. He has no intention of making peace with the kids and wants to know if maybe the guy just really loves giving him money or if there is another reason he doesn't want to eat that like say if it were poison. The chubby goes to train to replay and Zed already says he messed up thinking he was going to walk out of this as he kicks the table. And all the math they were supposed to eat hits the floor. Zed say he been going yes. But trash like him really does enjoy suffering who even so the fat guy slaps the wall. Saying there is no poison and if they show and prove he'll admit it, your boy goes for his A and removes the contact lens. Saying that is all the proof he needs. Upon saying the red eye, the guy knows immediately he is an arahan. He falls on his boot totally scared, afraid he is going to the end just as a he is already on his knees begging for forgiveness. Saying he didn't realize he was unable, the guy is sobbing desperately. Wanting to know why a kid from a family like that is wandering around pretending to be a Bagya. At that moment Manzit realized something, the arahan name held way more power than he imagined. He asked if the fat guy will do anything he said to reach the man replies yes. Zed says his first condition is that he can't tell anyone about his identity. The guy agrees. Then Zed gives the second condition. He has to hand over half of all his money and in return Zed will act like long his and apparently larang family $3 million. Cause I thought the fat guy was gonna say that as too much, but no, he just agrees and says he is going to get it right away. He runs out saying you better hand it over quickly before the kid changes his mind. Zed puts the lenses back in, and Liu praises him saying that his name really scared the guy. He didn't even have the guts to say anything. But Zed already warned that this will be their last night in this city. But Longo walks in just at that moment. Wanting to know what the rush is all about, the two of them turned to sail. Hernal walk in with arms crossed saying they finally met again. She praises our boy saying he is even more impressive than she imagined. Knows it as hesitating, not sure if she found out he belongs to the Arahan family, it would make sense, and they says the fat guy shaking his head no, but and forty, so that probably is the case. Which means maybe she got some info from the prison if the fat guy finds OG is an abandoned Arahan. The deal will be also he has to wrap this up quickly. I says Finn he'll accept a private conversation with her no face to face at the table. He asks why she is here, or why she has been looking for him. Her tilts her head to the side and says he is misunderstanding again. She didn't come here for him. She had a meeting with a client there. At that moment Zed realizes that client is Ryu who apologizes for doing something like that. Hannah says she is sorry, but unfortunately she still has been able to fulfill her side of the day, and Ryu stands up angrily saying that's not what she agreed to. Anastasia is already paid a lot of money but Harna says it is impossible to find someone who disappeared that long ago. They should be alive or dead. Zip finally realizes what's going on as they share satu case insurance since she wants to negotiate it with Uchi. Tracy LL been negotiating with both of them in other words. Our boy will help him if she solves US problem first. Hirna thanks him and says her request is going to be real simple. All she wants is for him to fight Walmart Yujiro on more time. Ryu saya it as clearly a trap. But right, Hanzit already accepts it. Bro lip filler face is already reminiscing. Saying not to worry, she a little hold of her and of the deal some time later. They were walking back through the street, and Rose they were holding a little coin pouch. Zeke asked why he is making that 5G mad a ton of money but Ryu is apologizing saying he didn't want to hide stuff from him from the start. Since she knows the city and everyone who passes through you figure should be a good source of info but yeah you should have told Zeke beforehand. Zeke say it has been a busy day. Zeke knew from the beginning that Ryu was stealing money. Ryu is a little shocked at he. But that says just so he doesn't feel too bad. He only just figured out that the money was going to her. Ryu wants to know why he didn't say anything. And our boy just says it is because he does not care. The help Ryu had been given was worth more than 20 coins. But he does say he doesn't let things like that all the time. From now on Ryu better not hide anything else no matter where he was born. He can't act like garbage bro. What do you mean bitch at you saying everyone who is poor is garbage? You bastard come here so I can shock you. But Ryu is already teary-eyed apologizing swearing he'll never do it again even so he begs or boy not to join the fight. They should just take the money and vanish from this place. Zeke asks how is he going to get info about his brother if they run away now, to which Ryu says he already figured it all. That woman is going to scam him again. Sid thinks about it. Ryu is not an idiot so it is clear that him going to Hernan who was desperate. He knew it was a bad overkill. The chances were low but he had no other choice. Manuel had done Hernan was the type to take advantage of desperate kids and left them behind, and yeah he admitted he wanted to run away too. But he changed his mind. Ryu begs him to drop it. Obviously he trusts Zeke's skills no but even so her is definitely going to wreck something. But Zeke just says that as exactly why he wants to fight. Nothing better than cleaning up trust that as in your way you sure. She is John all out prepping this gue every cheat possible all to make Zeke lose which makes it perfect. Manuel back at the prison man. I almost forgot about this guys. They're still out hunting for our boy. On of them comes to report to Clark. Yet all the troops are ready. He slams the table saying no they're finally going to take out that damn rat that has been hiding right under their nose. From today that damn Iron doesn't left alive. 3 days later here we are in the middle of the arena. Walmart Yujiro is raising his arms up saying today he is going to kill the kid. Zip is amazed that this guy is still so confident after getting his butt kicked so hard, and Ryu still insisting he back out saying they can still run anthem. But there they are face to face the fight. Everyone has been waiting for brutal friendship. Twirly guy versus the city beggar. Suddenly fell the loop on everyone as face in the stands changed and Ryu says things just got serious. Strangely enough the guy had taken on the exact same stance as Zeke. Yujiro was thinking that he better have a solid plan. And that is the only reason he even came back. No way there is an Iron with what mana that would make any sense. But he was abandoned in prison so maybe that's why he decides to rush in saying he is going to find out for himself. Or by guess the first move who will know it as Yujiro who is giving out tips. He says he practiced what she told him and really noticed it was useful. Or boys dodging impressed that the guy actually listened to what he said. Unpracticed but then suddenly he notices the way the guy is positioning himself. And bam he whips him on the side of the head. Man Yujiro was left all twisted up with smoke coming out of his forehead. But out of nowhere he starts smiling says the loser really does not have any mana. Papa in the crowd say that weirdly enough today seems really to everyone is cheering for him be named. But Zeke already knew what it was. The overbelt an attempt had negated 90% of physical damage. Which is just absurd in a fight like this. Normally it is to beat someone wearing a. Since all you have to do is use mana. But in Zen's case when he doesn't have a mana, Rui is over in the corner, trying to understand what is happening with his Gui is resisting Zen's attack so easily. He tells him to be careful. Clearly that woman did something, but she is willing. He tells Ryu just to watch and pay attention. His friend does not get it. Why the heck is he smiling like that? Manuel Yujiro asks if he is going to give up. Suddenly Zed lets his shoulders drop and say, he is actually surprised. Yujiro immediately notices the boy is fighting stance Hachangan. He was going to ask Zed something, but I just got smashed on the side of the head. Even with 90% resistance, his air was already purple and turning necrotic. Ake to the stomach. He starts tumbling backwards, confused as to how he is even taking real damage with that bell. But man of our boy Zed had a grin on his face. It is not every day he gets to fight using 100% of his strength. Whenever he did that in the ring within less than a minute, the other Gui was already unconscious on the ground. Because of that, he never really been able to go all out before, but here was a Gui standing in front of him, taking all those kicks and still on his feet. That was the first time he had seen something like that. And instantly he wanted to kick him some more to see what it felt like again. Yujiro throws his arms up, convinced another high kick is coming, but then he gets slammed in the rib. His guard drop a high touches on in the face. Gusto block low and gets hit in the gut. The poor guy couldn't even tell where the attacks were coming from anymore. That was it. He couldn't even see what was happening in the fight anymore while Zen is telling him not to dare collapse. Now Yujiro tries to say he give us okay. And takes another on to the chin. The crowd is stunned and no or boy breaks the belt. The item shatters. Yujiro feels a chill pull down his spine and collapses to his knees. Right then the protagonist asks him why it's not getting back up. Yujiro was able to apologize again and say he forfeit, but gets another shot right to the face. Seth is not letting him say the word forfeit. That wasn't nearly enough yet, but just then Eugen says something strange. Seth's contact lens was breaking apart and you could see the red eye underneath. The Gui was about to say the name Arahan, but passed out cold, falling backwards. Suddenly the protagonist feels something strange in his chest, like some kind of alien energy coursing through his body. He decides to open up the system window and, man, just like you said, finally his mana had gone from 0 to 1. It might not be much, but to him the feeling was way better than expected. Because man, he has got an S-rank archmage talent, so that makes a huge difference. But then he noticed strangely the whole place had gone silent. Ryu comes running and asks why he took the lenses out. Zed bro, he just points to himself and asks, can everyone see me? And Ryu says obviously not only that. His eye look even redder now, almost glowing from the stun. Everyone recognized it instantly and shouted the name and nobody had any doubts. They just took off running, bro. Shouting that Onion and bit was as this. My god, what the heck did his family do in this world, man? Just seeing the lead color was enough to make everyone but not even Itachi with the magnitude Sharingan caused that much fear, bro. Right then Zed ran off too, saying that soon the guards were going to show up. So three better disappear quick. Manuel Miss Fat Lips over there was fuming, saying she never should have listened to that damn Gui. From the persona she gets up, saying that now she is going to have to deal with this Zed Gui herself. Obviously she is furious, because she lost a fortune since that Gui she had right might was the chip, not to mention that belt cost over 200 gold coin and was destroyed at that moment. She knows that damn brat already might have lost around 2,000 coins. She is screaming in rage, puts her hand on her face, saying she should have listened to that Gui and killed that brat from the start. Manuel our boy and Ryu were already getting ready to leave that place. The problem is that now there were guards everywhere. Sometime later Ryu comes out of a barrel asking if things are finally calm. He tells the boy to stay there, because he is going to get a carriage so she can leave, but Riker and I Gui with orange hair stop and says that Hermes sent him has some information that Ryu was looking for. I thought you should go tell to her besides they better know there won't be any other carriages running in that city. It okay the boys were going to run away but there they go again. Going to meet up with a crazy lady. Will obviously knows it's a trap and then already knows to the friend thinks it's crazy. But that says if they don't take care of this now the problem will follow them for the rest of their lives, so it was time to finish it and just like he imagined a little while later there is Herna with all the guards. Even that bastard Clark mustache showed up man. I'll crooked think you. He is not going to lose and Clark guarantees that if someone dirty. Late Fosito really did steal the key and run away like that. Her is Augian say he was an idiot if he had stayed on her see the things wouldn't have turned out like this. But that I stand even if we could go back in time his choice wouldn't change. Besides he was planning to die quickly at that moment. Black draws his sword and says Zain Araham will be executed right now and no one should interfere. The protagonist just tells Ryu to stay back. And Clark said it as comical the boy really took the head and chance in first filters to her finally. He was brave old boy said he has a 50% chance of winning. That actually is kind of a psychological game he plays with himself. Against someone stronger than him, we always believe than because they they give up at least there was a chance and against someone weaker he they get to Charles Since that person also has a chance. This little bear got quite the strong mindset to him. It didn't matter how strong the five circle. Negat was the odds were still 50-58 or he wins or he loses. Then, Clark starts quoting his blood in our unsightly confident until Nyanris or ex-Arnyan. Garen staggering. Confident either waits and he charges forward calling out to Zid Arahat and telling him to the protagonist just watches him coming saying, that was exactly what I wanted. He didn't want much use the opportunity to risk his life. And just to lose at that moment he became a challenger once more. And the signature expression of the rank as determined challenger activates all his attributes temporarily increased B10 says Clark as blade coming. And a purple explosion hits the ground. He calls out for Zid and in the middle of the smoke Clark is standing there silently. He had opened a crater in front of him. But where was the boy? That is when someone tells the captain to look up man. There were some lightning bolts coming home. What is this out of nowhere? The boy was flying and glowing. What is happening here man? He activated the Reborn Thunder transformation. I get in he gained 10% more in all stats, probably got more mana. And now he has enough to us power. He is an S-rank archmage. That little transformation kind of reminds you of Killua S. Tuesday. When he has a lightning I escape this on as the golden version Orbo immediately charges in. Clark is surprised and has to defend against the flying Kidma. He was already a best in hand-to-hand combat. Now he is gonna beat Global Doll. With Majid the Fool is pushed back and keeps wondering how this is even possible. He can't believe a Bradley that could have lightning unlike the basic Elementa. Almost no one had resistance to lightning. But this was an element that not even the founder of the Arahan clan was supposed to have. So he did this discarded Brad have that power. The guard and thoughtful Herna are all standing there with, they're just on the floor. Ryu off to the side is not even impressed anymore. Clark chokestomps the ground firmly thinking this Wage has the most people who have everything handed to them just because of their bloodline. He slashes towards it saying hey, hates people like him. But our boy just does a matrix tele dodge backwards man. Clark insists sending across slash. While our boy dodges on dodges another and starts getting closer. Clark however had managed to slash for the side of his head and was sure the kid wouldn't dodge this on. But his sword seemed to collide with some kind of electric barrel. The kid kind of had a natural shield and no, he was right next to him, landing a solid hit in the ribs and that frame is beautiful. Take that in the chestful. While he is reading in the electricity man the Korean mood has going wild. A purple explosion hit and the GUI as back yell. Estimating the problem is man the GUI was already the king of dodging. And now he is all electrified. The gas another strike comes from the scene and lands another on the chin. Chante understand with his kid is fighting like he was supposed to be a magi. Obviously magis us barriers. Unstay at a distance to cast spells. And that's why when Agna gets closer always defeated that was kind of below of this world, and a law that had never been broken, and that's with this kid in front of him made no sense. More likely fleeing around and Clark trying to hold the attacks back, it was the first team he had sent a mag of this style. So he had no strategy, he decided to change plan, and back off to us it was long range sword slash attacks. But that is way faster. In a second he expects to face again, landing another punch right to the face. Clark called the series opening and takes another one in the good man. Now he got launched all the way to the other side, crashing into a tree. The poor guy is spitting out like 3 liters of blood. While the soldier beside him asked if he's okay, one thing is clear. He's a man of honor, a man because even with the wilders trying to help his size, nobody should get involved. Then he turns to the boy and says that really he lost to Arahan. At the very least, he should be killed. No, but then asks if the guy wants to know where he was. Clark says no, just kill him already and stop being annoying, but then doesn't care. He says he is going to tell him anyway. He says the only reason he lost is because he has been training way more and putting in the effort. Obviously that it is Clark's weak spot, and he says it is ironic. Someone with a bloodline like is talking about effort and training. The strength he has is simply because he was born with Arahan blood. He really has no idea what true effort looks like, effort from someone with no talent at all. But Zed responded that he is sure Clark should have been stronger than him, at that AGF had fought better and trained to become even stronger. He should have lost, no, but he has been that beat his inferiority complex. Besides, Agneha should never blame another person for their own defeat. Clark stays silent and says, yeah, that is ironic, while thinking he never imagined that a kid like Jess would remind him of the true court of Agni. Then he tells Araham to just end it already and kill him. The problem is it knows that if we kill this guy, someone known as the Lima Circle he is going to start being hunted. But he also tried to let him walk around out there talking about him to everyone. At that moment the Challenger talent and the Lightning talent deactivated. Suddenly raises his hand and everyone in the forest screams as he what he is doing. Harna orders the guard to kill him, now surrounded by everyone. They think this number of people is the ideal, but suddenly he looks back and a strange mist starts approaching. The whole place gets covered by this energy and he is trying to figure out whether it's a magi or someone approaching. The situation was worse than he thought, and he ready to escape. Suddenly the mist seems to settle a bit. But in the next second, when he opens his eyes, everyone in front of him is dead. Man, he didn't even get to kill him. And nobody even had time to scream. The strange part is that the bodies are full of scratch, like cut, and even Clark was killed. Then Zed remembers Ryu looks bad and just for him all awkward and bent over. He shows up from the bushes saying yes, when his friend asks if it was him who did that. And our boy says no, there must be some high-ranking match nearby, whatever it is, it is best to leave as fast as possible. Then Roses a cat among the bodies and tells him to check it out. It was way too clean and broken like it due to a while someone watches them from open at three, nothing suspicious about this. How the guy reacted. I had to go decide it is an era. Go was watching to see if he get executed in prison. But no, says the boy is the real DM and is thinking better protect his kid as the future of the family. And Yogui, what do you think plays your better? What do you think? This guy is huge. Tell us some time later in the forest they made a little campfire and is there looking at the sheet of paper, which was blank. Until suddenly he puts a bit of mana into it and a symbol appeared. It was a magic card that is actually USB secret organization. Token of exchange encrypted messages, man, and Zed recognizes the symbol as that of the Black Mirror, a group that swore absolute loyalty to the Araha and helps them with secret missions. When it comes to secret organizations, they read the biggest in the empire, and on the back of the letter you called Sidina, 4FV is not mistaken, no. Satu means accept or basically affirm. No, 2 is reject no. 3 is a proposal. And no. 4 is observation and protection Yamigu is didn't last long touch no fun right. I was right away looks like Harry Loy is being protected by someone from the Arahan as heavens and strange since in theory he does not have angan. But this are manners. Yeah man no he does. He has 3 speaking language. Considering it went up by duo after defeating Clown you can tell it works like experience in a game plus no he has unlocked the lightning form somachi that not only boasts his physical abilities, but also creates a shield. Obviously Togi only has mana to activate it. When Osinta challenger talent. Train Ryu Charles Otto or Boy and says hey chante sleep he wants to know where they going and what they gonna do or Boy says that's obvious. They're going to the city of Thrill the Track as the last bite they heard about his brother all they have to do is keep moving. Ryu Tog says, maybe his brother isn't a offender and more besides you can't even get to Frulden without using a career just he already closed that and the road is going to be a little different. First day LL Pastrol Tamaya that village is the front line of the southern defense barrier at that moment a magic circle appears on the ground. An act that shows up through it well man isn't it that blunt that the character or boy using to play a elf when he blessed the demon king. Along with him an army starts appearing and I swear that the Taurus Bahal is going to hunt the Arahang. Will disgrace the name of that place. Then say him a bit earlier kneeling down and asking if someone called for him it was face to face with the Lord Wo Sayese. A mission came specifically for the boy. And Arahang, who was in a southern prison, had escaped a few days ago. Not only did they kill the guards but also other innocent people in the city. And they as the successor of Baha must bring justice and honor to the family. The Blondie Gui immediately takes an oath that the orders will be obeyed. Meanwhile in the middle of the forest troop is saying, this is madness. It just tells him to stop whining saying, it has been 5 days with the samtal. What the friend is complaining about is that they're the only idiots going straight into the front lines. Like this on the Empire's map you can say there are only a few exits, and outside the mountains it is full of demonic beasts. Each of the major families is designated to guard on of this region, and the south belongs to the Bahal family. The place they're going to is called Tamaya, a village region on the front lines, and one of the places where demonic beasts tend to appear on top of that. Since it's an advanced base there is a teleportation portal there, obviously it is something so expensive that not even nobles can use it easily. But Gorboy got a ton of money from betting and looting everything from Harna. Still Ryu keeps complaining saying he has no idea how terrifying a demonic beast this time passes, and make fuss once more he was chatting a bit. When Zid suddenly felt a strange vibration, the whole ground was shaking in a low voice. He stood up and told Ryu to get ready. Something was coming right away. He put out the campfire and hid behind the bushes to watch the camp. Ryu was praying that it was the demonic beast, while Zid was hoping that it was a demonic beast. The problem was that it wasn't just one or two vibrations. There were at least a dozen. And right now, it is very rare for that man demonic beast to break past the barrier, which means man it was exactly what he feared. Taurus Bahar and the army were arriving. The guys were at last just passing by and there was just praying that those 50 tambah soldiers wouldn't spot them, but that is one of the soldiers obviously detects the camp. Zid lost and if they refound they have not changed. The minimum requirement to be in that group is to be a 5 circle clear and roger. Guerrilla class dumurges. Jake's doctor actions. Hey Elia survive. But Zed will definitely be killed or Boy to tells him to stop shaking so much. FVS gonna say something like that. Besides he didn't need to worry. He had an idea that might be work. The soldiers are all just checking around the camp. Then suddenly someone from the bushes after what they're looking for. Hey you crazy fool, you're really gonna rely on that protection card who steps outside he as the Arahan he is doing. This insane move. Because he knows that once the guys realize the camp is still warm they will start searching the entire area, we won't be able to get away. And if they were found suddenly, a little bit worse betrayal. When he goes to say he wants to talk to the leaderman, Ashworth almost slashes his neck to explain that he just wants to talk first. But there is already another on in his back man. He senses the presence and goes to activate a circle at his feet. But one of the guys attack seems to hit something between him and Zephyr was nothing but it got blocked. Our boy understands that it was the power might of the Persia, who has been protecting him, and avoids tells the knight to stand down. The guy backs off instantly and the rest of the soldier order the person to reveal themselves. Zedek knew someone was watching him, but he didn't expect that whoever it was had been this close to the Huma. Was right in front of him. He couldn't even felt their presence, not even with 100 perception real man and not just one person. But an entire squad was protecting. He know that Maka sends away the Arabians are so fair trade. He was wondering why everyone kept praising the Arabians. Like where are they? The problem now is that the protagonist is arriving wanting to know who there stand in the way of Baha. Everyone celebrates the arrival of the successor, and the Black Mirror guys instantly recognize him as the so-called Baha. For Zin, so that presence was so familiar, it felt like a part of him, the character he had played with the longest. The on was tied with him until the end. It was the team to be thinking about that, but he was feeling a bit nostalgic. Then Torres asked Zid Arahan before Zid can answer. The Guiga steps in front and tells him not to spare. No Zen is trying to understand why these guys are going this far, and Taurus then say he can finally meet the secret organization they always heard about. But Evans it crazy that they are acting like this even knowing who is the Arahan family had no crossed the line. He throws his sword into the air saying that today the would payday. Press with bare hand. Suddenly a voice say, "That's not going to happen." A red circle appears beneath all the soldiers. Zin recognizes the formation as a type of trap that has to be set up in advance. Which meant, this guy was not only smart and good to predict everything that would happen but also to use circle match. Then the guy says that Onion was steps out of the circle will cause an explosion. Standing still, Taurus wants to know if the Arhan family wants a war with the Baha. Towards the turning my says as he already mentioned it, it is better for them to back off since not even Lord Bahal wants a war like this. But that is when Taurus activates the Blade as power again, and tells them not to insult the Lord as name that however knows that we are still keen of the start of the game. And Taurus is still a circle guy and they has no chance of winning this. If he starts a fight right now, all the knights there will be annihilated. The madman, Thog was already activating the Leon as roar without acar ever. Thog adds a 7 circle technique. Zid is hoping the GUI gives up, otherwise he is going to have to see everyone as body sling on the ground or boy asked the human to deactivate the magic circle before they all explode. But the how did man turn? And says they only follow the Lord as orders. And one of the commands he received was to protect Zid Arahan. And they can't do anything that would go against that. Zid then asks why instead of protecting him, the guy is trying to kill the Bahal successor, which will only increase his chances of getting killed in the future if he really was such a skilled assassin. He should be able to get out of there without killing this guy. When he yells at Taurus to stop tool or he end up dying, but the guy just tells him to shut up saying that they killed countless innocent citizens and prison guards. They have to pay the price for every crime he committed. Zid tries to explain that it's a misunderstanding. Until she can tell, but Mantoras is already charging and saying VLL when he is on his knees. Zid notices the circle didn't explode, which at least means the GUI didn't get killed right away, but then explosion sweeps through the area and Ryu calls out to Z. Torres' work had been blocked by a barrier created by the secret organization GUIs, and even with just the block and the sword shockwave, Torres dropped to his knife and caused a blood. Z then him even walks over and asks if the GUI know that he is on his knees, is ready for a little conversation. But Taurus just faints and collapses nearly dead to the ground. The soldiers run over saying he is dead, but our boy explains hey. Just lemon clear size. From our previous memory. It's best to let him recover naturally and not even try anything. The healers are already trying to heal him. You say knows this is mana backlash, and you can't heal someone as backlash. If you're a weaker than them, obviously the only honest stronger can him there are the Black Mirror guys. And our protagonist tells the guy to go ahead and heal Torel, which obviously freaks him out. He asks if Zed is seriously telling him to heal this next. Zed says that Torres is an old friend of his satu man, it's not Ali. But it is kind of a suspicious statement. Obviously the guy refuses to heal him, saying it is impossible that the two of them are friends. Zed then says that mages are usually smart. He wants to know if the guy really thinks that the death of an Arahan would lead to a large scale war. And if that would be productive, but Monday Gui just replaced the death of the successors would actually be good for the Arahants. Strongly thought it seems sure that's not true. Oh yeah, heck knows that in the future demons are going to start invading and they'll need everyone to win. The problem is he is running out of patents. And out of nowhere he snaps smile. He puts the sword to his own neck, saying that if the Gui does heal Torres, he'll to Wageman's right. The masked man will fail his mission. Since the mission is to protect him, the masked Gui says even so he can't act that way or the Lord will be furious. Zed says he does not care, he'll carry that burden himself. Suddenly the masked man approaches Torres. His friends obviously hesitate. But Zed explains that the only person who can save Torres is someone stronger than him. If they don't accept the help, the guy will direct their quit that Torres is finally healed. And the soldier even gets a bit teary-eyed. At that exact moment, the Black Mirror guys vanish as always, laughing behind a ladder. Sometime later, the village of Inamaya Urba is standing in front of a tent looking at Katno. 9 Online. Abandoned or survival eating 8 months like where John W.L. asked if that mess in the forest that killed everyone was also the Black Mirror. And our boy says yet but knows they were alone. Zed then notices something strange and asks Ryu how he knows about this organization. Ryu replies that everyone knows it as common knowledge, even little kids in I don't know about them. Zed can't believe it a secret organization known by everyone. But Ryu wants that since everyone is watching, then they better be careful or they'll be killed at a moment. Zed however says there is no need to worry, their arachnids will truly follow the Knexley code. In other words, people will value honor. Mages on the other hand will kill a friend if it meant earning a few coins. The truth is both sides are too extreme and kind of irrational, but that actually makes things easier for him. With Agnegan, all you need is to challenge your sense of honor. And with the Omega, all you need is an offer that brings profit. Then one of the knights shows up and says the Lord Carb wants to speak with him. Inside that, and sometime later Torres talks with our boy has starts be talking about that. But our boy doesn't seem very interested. Then Taurus gets straight to the point and asks about their situation. She replies that he's not very formal and wants to talk casually about Yun so they can keep it chill. Taurus asks how old he is. And our boy says in this body EM15, why does he always say the most suspicious things in the world? He just tried to tell us everyone he has reincarnated them in while the two are chatting. Look Rose over there taking notice that they're getting all buddy. And Torres replies that even if he doesn't want to have first, has to thank him because thanks to Z. His life was saved. Our boy notices chat just like in the game, and since he is acting out on her that's the universe of it. And if there is someone who knows Torres well, as him after all he played 10 years of Torres. But that the guy says no small talk, let's get to the point. He wants to know what is this about the murder of the city people and prison guards being assaulted. Zed says that is fine and starts to explain everything that happened. Sometime later Tori says that if what Zed said is true, then trying to defend himself really is justifiable. The whole point of this talk is figuring out whether it is true or not. But Zed replies that if it were Ali would have just let Torres the end, that would have been an easier way on for him. Strangely Taurus saya that honestly that argument is solid bro, I accept it that the guy gave up on arguing. Then he puts a sack on the table and say that as a gift man it is some kind of powdered manner. Zed however replies that if he is trying to apologize he is going about it the wrong way. What he really wants is help. Finding Ryu's younger brother was missing. Tori says that Dusty Makesan said that would benefit him as a magi. But Zed just replies that he does not care about that. There is a promise he made to his friend. The next morning there is the badass again every day break, and early doing a bunch of push-ups as Lufellas mine. I got a get inspired bitches gue. And Russell is all confused. Wanting to know why he asked that favor when he should have gotten something much better for himself. Meanwhile Tuvok was just off to the city listening to everything. And watching our boy working out duties gue is peculiar. Lufellas I don't know the only woman in this story was Hera. And she already did they really gotta introduce some new honest cause this is getting strange. And oddly he really is staring at our boys ABS. Thinking like a mage with Hotman and normally mages say physical training is barbaric. But his own works hard maybe he can relate to the cat a mage with Hotman like at naked with a sword. What impressed him was that even so the boy didn't give up and kept trying to improve. It makes you wonder if he were in a situation that Bart would have been able to maintain his dignity in that moment. Thor's mate Ambegu was more of a naked than I had ever known. And that's where he would become his friend. Well, let's go fellas, finally some friendship cause this was getting weird. Some time later he went to get himself a big old staple to eat, obviously the kind of vest that would power up anybody. And while Taurus is being all friendly with our boys, the alternates are just off in the corner watching and not liking it one bit. He tells everyone to sit down. And our boys impressed just like he showed turns out and after for an hour. Ryu on the other hand is a bit unsure, asking if he is really sure they can add that our boy says he really does nothing now. Next just help and say thanks. Restart the team but Zed knows nothing in this world is free for them to be. Serving something that expensive they definitely want something in return. Suddenly talk on of the knight that stands up saying that unfortunately this situation makes him uncomfortable so he is leaving the other guys say the same. And everyone stands up saying, "Really going in just a second, it's only the three of them left at the table." Thor's apologizes but Zed says it is all good. Besides it's better not to punish the situation won't gain anything from it. Thor says again it's weird that our boy is asking not to punish guys while our ally is insulting him but Zed says that as expected. Those guys have seen mages as enemies since they were kids, obviously it wouldn't be normal for them to suddenly meet only. And just sit down and share a meal. Tori says that maybe it is true, maybe he was wrong to even invite him to this. But at that moment Zed says he must have something more important to say, right? Since he called them here for this. Thor explains that they're planning to leave this place soon. But I wanted to delay the departure beyond that as because he wants to show everyone that Zeta is a keen and honorable young man. And on day would be and Zeta asked if he was okay with that. And he says yes. Sometime later we're at the southern border near the wall of Inamai. A creature is sliced in half and Ignite celebrates. Torres praises everyone as word and tells him to keep moving forward. Zed however is there in the middle of everything, trying to understand why he has been brought into all this recno. That this group is extremely advanced and usually deals with dangerous creatures. That's why after every mission, they either celebrate the fact that everyone made it back or in some cases they mount those who didn't think. Satori's plan is to make him participate in this. So the group will start to like him. Maybe it is an emotional decision but it fits his 17-year-old kid. As they continue Chong they find some marks on the ground. The crater is huge. And Thor's asks if anyone knows what caused it. The guy next to him says it is probably a bias that has been cataloged with the protocol. They should retrieve now and record it in the books. But Thor says that would be overkill. They're not even in danger Zed on E1 yet. So if it's a new creature it should be low level. The author say that if it is low level it could still be dangerous. When it is something on down, Thoras is thinking about going back. Until Zed says that Heck knows what the creature is. Clearly it was a monster child basilisk. A mid-level creature but with 25 circle native. And chim in the 6th circle it would be hard towards as KFVS not link. While all the soldiers start saying they can't trust a match. To which Hejan simply replies that we should go Iran Mages have a much broader bestiary record than they do. The guys always think they're being insulted and start complaining about the kid. But Zep replies that they read the honest underestimating him first of they shouldn't even have the nerve to speak. That rudely toan arahan hayo suddenly Taurus interrupts the conversation. And tells everyone to be quiet he goes to apologize to Z, saying he had hoped things would go better when suddenly the basilisk appears behind everyone. Taurus immediately yells for everyone to get into formation. But they already have to dodge the first attack. He asks if Z is okay, who tells him to pay attention to the fight man. He nearly got chomped by another monster that is, when they realize it's not one basilisk but two. And Taurus is already activating his aura. And note that I noticed those they kind of look like flood from stellar swordsman, like a flood from another world. And man all the knights are there with their aura lit up charging toward the basilisk. Strangely in this world mages fight up close while the knights are the honest sending out those aura slashes. The problem is those aura slash explosions are doing nothing to the basilisk. And even Fought is confused because the attacks aren't working. Suddenly the creature lifts up a tail full of spike and then yells for everyone to get down. Nobody obeys and Tori shouts at him to follow orders. That's when the guys throw themselves flat to the ground. But Sid notices on Gui being stubborn, saying he won't take orders from a mage. Artmo yells again but to what the monster fears of a bunch of poisonous spikes. Those who were down didn't get killed but the form was tight standing obviously got hit was saved busy Drake after so he was had to be saved with the medkit Dumbas. But our boy already warns them that on the next attack the monster is going to aim at the ground so that Drake won't work twice. Trenya tells Taurus that he'll leave him in the next scene to deal with the one on the left. In other words, the badass is going to handle the one on the right. Taurus is a bit confused. But Zed just tells him to answer already yeah or no, so the blondie says fan they'll kill the one on the left. And they'll take care of the one on the right. Our boys Milith and says he is counting on them with that the mech squad jumps away leaving our boy face to face with the other basilisk. Note that he is alone with the monster. The challenger talent activates. With 10 more mana he is able to activate the lightning talent. He calls out to the monster telling it to look over her charges toward the creature which roars in his direction. But Zid of course is smiling. He loves risking his lovely side. He is lucky to have found something like that. The monster tries to attack but he don't just be jumping from one tree turn to another. And comes down from above again. The creature might look towed, but can knows where it is. Web point is it's not about perching, it is about striking it on top of the head with that the monsters all twisted and trembling. Then collapses to the ground. Man the best is already dead. It's okay, judging would be more trouble honestly. On top of that he gets an ingredient from its mouth a thing called demon as breath, aka in real to possibly turn it into an elixir. The boys are in his swag mode, lightning crackling and little energy orbs floating around. And they say that the elixir is a perfect item since it has a small chance of boosting some of your status. And since he already has all his stats maxed well, it's a 100% chance to increase mana. Then he waves goodly to the monster saying he is off to have the knights. Taurus was defending himself from an attack which wasn't fleeing effect, so he was still managing to hold out the problem. No that he has been separated from the knight. And does not have a defensive support trigger. Genius says a firework shown into the scheme and it hits the monster square in the head again. Obviously it was Zid asking if he is okay. Seeing the boy all electrified, Torres wants to know what kind of energy that is. The knights all are shocked asking what that is at. Of course they recognize it instantly. Rexelas it called only by the Tankilua. Torres asks if he is really using lightning key. And Zid says that's obvious, which leaves the Gui even more confused since as far as her knows the boy has no mana. The protagonist explains Then he acquired mana a little while ago, which makes the full even more confused. That is because in this world you can of born with mana already formed, mana baby may not have all the checklist connected, but he already naturally have the talent for it. But if Zut was born with foot, I think right, that mana he should have never been able to get it as the same as someone being born with 9 fingers and suddenly growing at 1. It really was a good comparison, at the very least it is peculiar. While Taurus is deep into Zin asked if we can keep the item Taurus says yes, he is the one who killed the creature. So he gets to keep it, or boys all smile. Getting those 2 items really was a stroke of luck. Sometime later the knights are all talking about how Zid killed the creatures. First of it made no sense, a kid with no mana using lagi. Second, was fighting physically instead of using magic from a distance. That's all Anion was talking about. And a bit later in about the Guijar, a boy mad kiss the asphalt comes to thank him and says it as fine. As if he assured the guy says thanks to Yang, he is not Ryu immediately wants to know what our boy did, suddenly getting treated with respect like that. To which our boy just says whatever, at least knows they're going to help even more in finding his brother. At that moment Tori calls out to the 2 of them. He already compliments our boy saying he really managed to change the knight's opinions. That's where he reveals that unfortunately, he has to return home. He is sure the family hate is going to go nuts when he finds out everything that happened there. Zid asks if he is not afraid of getting chewed out for getting close to an Arahan. Tori says he is already bracing for that anyway. He always knew it would happen sooner or later. Besides, he also plans to pass through Frinda to help look for Ryu's brother. Strangely from that low camera angle on Ryu, they could look of like villains. But they're talking about how now that there is a noble hey from this region looking for his brother, the odds of finding him are much higher. Rivas is emotional and thanks them both. The next day they in Frinda, a region in the south where the triport is located. Finally Ryu reveals the name. The person he is looking for is a girl named Lisa, 13 years old. She has long blonde hair that goes down to her waist. Her roughly short. What her height is and size will be able to tell because she is adorable. Nothing dangerous at all about a girl like that walking around the world alone. Zid says they will need to check the records of slaves that were sold and those that are still up for sale. Basically all the houses that deal in that kind of business. The knight just agrees, and then our boy tells her that they will first talk to the merchant he used to work for. Some time later they are looking at the entrance of a place guarded by some guy. They tell Rich he want to be able to go in and meanwhile he is already dressed up in a fancy suit. Obviously he is going in as someone interested in buying a slave right away. The guy at the door trying to act dog. Is bowing saying it is amazing to receive someone as distinguished as him that's without even knowing who he is right man. He asks if the boy is looking for something specific. And said says he wants to know if this is Hamel as trading firm. The guy says he must be mistaken, this is a slave market. Suddenly he stands up and says that apparently the boy is the noble. And that it is better for a kid like him to just laugh. Zid finds that word and says he is a noble. The guy replies that every true noble refers to slaves, as if they were products in other world. The fact that Zid asked if it was a trading post, it makes sense. Zid tells him to stop being stupid. But the guy says he must have been sent by Devio. Once again, our boy curses him out and the guy tries to throw a punch, and 10 seconds later there he is all wrecked. Getting slapped in the face with Zid telling him to answer already turns out that the original Hamel as trading firm disappeared. And Fast Guys took over and Zid wants to know why. The guy explained that the previous owner went bankrupt, so they can of just took over the place. Zid wants to know what is DeVito Guy is, and the man says he is the biggest slave trader in the entire southern region. Now Zid's got on a more name for the list and wants to know where the rest of the people from this place are. When the Guy asks if he means the products, implying that slaves are nothing more than items. If is another slap to the face, Zid tells him to say that again. and bump another slap and another then he tells him it is about Tim Heller, that people aren't productive. Even if he is stressed, you should at least try to live with a minimum of the chance the Gui apologize, and sometime later, he is pulling back the curtains behind the bus there, a bunch of worn down proper chain, loop and imprisoned. Zed asks if there is anyone else and the Gui says no that as everyone Zed finds at stranger is no blondie jewel no kids nothing like what they are looking for. But that is to be expected, right? Children are usually the most expensive slaves out there, most likely a girl like the owner you described would already been sold a while ago. He turns to the Gui and says that today he is lucky is going to get a chance to become a decent person. All he has to do is bring all the money from this place. And the prison case next when the phone is being burned and Urbai tells him it is his turn to experience that life. Outside the former slaves are all thanking him for his kindness. Looks like he took all the money from the slave traders and distributed it among the freed proposals they could restart their life. A golden-haired boy he also took the opportunity to sit and talk with some of them to hear their life story and gather information about this world. A white-haired Gui introduces himself as Gordon and says he is to be an assistant to the Cherville family. Separately stand if he worked for Tosa Popla and didn't get killed. He is already lucky to which Gordon says yes at that time the heavens must have been on his side. When it comes to blacksmithing, the Treville family is the most powerful in terms of crisis and wherever one looks for the magical tool and weapons to use it to produce. But because of a betrayal against the Empire, all of them were killed with that they vanished from history and nobody even likes to mention their name anymore. Obviously, Toga the Empire was stupid, since they didn't let Asino descendant leave the technique west they had were lost forever. And notice the number of magical beasts that keeps growing, not having quality weapons is costing them dearly. With his hands all beaten up, Gordon says that all of this is just past glory. Or boy says it really is sad to know that secret technique quests have been lost to Tims. And Gordon says that as a Tandio he is going to share some information but only because you saved him. That is a secret that has to be kept. Our boy says it is fine, but even so the old man glances around and says I will have to talk somewhere else. Outside he explains that the true heir of the Cherville family known as Lito is still alive. The truth is that his main assistant did in his place. So he called escape. He changed clothes, disfigured his own face and was never recognized again. As the plan worked 100%, it's probably living somewhere in Mars. That's a great piece of info for Z. The only problem is someone being hunted for treason obviously won't be easy to find. Zin thanks him and Gordon says he only told him because he seems like a good person. All he asked was that nothing bad happened to Emerlato with that they go back into the bar to at will. Cody is eating but looks kind of sad. And Zid wants to know why he can't be down just because they didn't find his sister in the first place. They check there are much bigger slave dealers. Devio, for example. Gordon seems to hear that name and tells him to be careful that Gui is on a totally different level from the place they destroyed. Zid is feeling confident and says he has got a Bahal squad with him so he is not afraid, but Gordon tells him he has no idea Devito has connection across the entire Empire. And apparently one of the rumors is tied. His biggest link is none other than the Arahan family. Of course, at that moment Orbo is using his blue lens, so nobody there knows he is actually an Arahan. He is already imagining that the Black Mirror Guis must be doing slaves to train and turn into the shadows of the family. Feeling a little awkward, he says it does make much sense why would the Arahans come all the way south to two boy slaves. To which the old man says it is because the priests are unbeatable. Plus if they buy up all the best slaves in the south, they relieving the powerful southern families without options. That stops to think for that and SCA. Then he uses like husbanding around so do the real problem knows what are the black penguin for protecting the. That means if he attacks them without revealing his identity, it could start a full-blown war between the Baha and the Arahan. Ryu Charles Otto or boy a little hesitant. And Zid notices That the kid is feeling awkward because his request is starting to cause way too much trouble, but they tells him not to worry. This isn't just about his sister anymore. It is about doing what is right to him. It didn't matter. He was going to wipe out every slash dia sooner or later anyway. Next day, face to face with DeVito as Slave Markin, which looks more like some Gian Imperial Palace / church mansion. Here comes our boy dressed like a noble. As he makes his entrance, suddenly people inside are startled. Zed entered without saying anything, and the beefed up guy at the front is asking what he thinks he is doing. But Kurgoid just wants to know where Davido is. One of them says he needs to understand where he is walking into. Another one says this is one of the few places where even a young noble could was his slave, but where he goes reaching for his aid. Saying that everyone who works for the Arabian really is arrogant, and the moment the guy say the right I bone the real falling to their knees begging for forgiveness, and then in the background, he also notices a guy slightly bowing that the outfit looked like it belonged to the Black Mirror folks, but probably someone of low rank. That is when from the second floor someone says that an interesting visitor has arrived. The mustache guy wants to know what someone so esteemed is doing there. He comes down and says I heard that this boy went to the slave mall and destroyed the place right away. Jin realizes that judging by the guy as confidence the Arahan name alone isn't going to work on him. This is probably DeVito who is already grabbing a glass, saying he didn't expect the kid would actually have the gut to come all the way here. But maybe he was just too naive. Zack gets right to the point and says that starting today the deal between and the Arahan is over and he is going to take all the slaves from that place, so it is best Devo cooperates. But man DeVito bursts out laughing in his face, apologizing because he couldn't help and that was just no funny. Side wants to know if the guy is really that eager today. To which DeVito reply that he is just curious to know when that is supposed to happen, as he is chair of the chit chat and that he is not going to kill the boss since he is a respected guest. However, the lesson he was going to learn today he carried for the rest of his life, just like the protagonist thought he is going to have to settle this with Fist. The only problem is he is hoping that how that guy in the back doesn't have to manage class. He is getting ready to go on the offensive before the other guys move, but then suddenly someone yells to surround the building. Well, Manlon who is shooting over there, obviously it is Tori is yelling that they refer to drop a like on this video that helps Mamoru make more juicy content for his viewers. Activate the cheeky little bell and aim out.